Yeah, I think the biggest thing and I don't know. So as a player, let me start you with Saturday. Nobody wants to hear excuses. And I did think the play calling at times just was completely unimaginative. We've talked a lot about how play callers take a lot of blame at times. How much of this, and both from a fan and player perspective, how much of this is simply a matter of the personnel to work with and trying to just run plays in the hopes that eventually you'll execute them the way you do in practice, relative to a play caller just not taking an opportunity to do something different? Because there were times when it was tough to watch. That's a mixed
bag, man. So you have the whole. There's times where you watch and obviously once you watch a play and it doesn't work, you're like, well, that play sucked. Right. Yeah, I mean, like seriously. So, but if it worked, like the fourth downs or whatever, you're like, yeah, if we would have scored there, that'd have been great. But we didn't. So that was the worst call ever. It happens that way. But there's times where you watch the plays being called, and let's go to the player perspective first, and you see. And it comes to it, 16's not hitting open guys. There's times when there's the routes are being run and we're stuck on one read, and it's just not working. And there's also times when 50 or 74 or whatever the O-line sticks their helmet straight down and misses a guy. And if you put your hat on a guy, that's probably could have been a decent play. If your quarterback's not getting hit within a second and a half of the ball being snapped, you don't. So things are going, but. The unimaginative stuff, the stuff that we're not stretching the field. We're taking up, half of the field for a play, and we're not making anyone think defensively at all. They're just coming, they can read and react just in an instant and make plays on us. Yeah, so there's times where you're looking at it and going, that's play caller. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Because if we're just not thinking with the athletes we have, with the quarterback we have, every week we come in here and we're saying, why isn't Lenoris rolling out? Why isn't he doing this? But then the flip of that is. Cutter comes in and we run a quick game. We run things that we don't do with Lenoris. When Doty came in, we run quick game. We run screens. We roll him out and he's making plays. Now they both threw picks or they both had in it. One was in garbage time, but it's like all of a sudden the playbook changed to we can do that. We can run. Why can't we run? And I don't know if it's Lenoris. They're supposed to be quicker throws, and he wants to go deep all the time, or he gets locked on a receiver all the time. But running the quick game, running the screens to stop the rush, getting some motion, some eye candy just to make things look like we're going wide, just to spread the defense out. And maybe it comes down to, hey, this is we complain about one thing, the penalties and all this stuff. They're jumping off sides, and when they're motioning and doing all that, maybe that's screwing them up. When we don't do that, we have no penalties, but we're not moving the ball. We're not scoring. Right. So it's like, what are we picking the poisons here? Which one do you want? I just want to put the ball in the end zone. So that's all I want to do. And I feel for the players and I feel for the coaches and everything, but it's and the fans, but it's still it hurts everybody. It's one of those, like, even as a former player, it's like a dagger every time I watch these guys, and I feel every pain they're going through. I feel everything. But what really frustrates me when I sit I'm 10 rows up and I'm watching the sideline and no one's fighting anybody. Nobody's getting anybody's face. There's no Diego Pavia on that sideline. That's what frustrates the heck out of me. And I think that's, we talk about, well, we need, I heard the O-lineman again saying we need the nasties, we need that. No, we need the leaders to be mean. We need the leaders to get in your face, but they got to lead by example first to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So go in the field, run someone's ass over, and then now start talking, to our team and getting them fired up. That's what I want. I want to see some freaking fire out there.
Question: you're playing. I'm going to make you a player again. I know you don't want to be. I know you hate this idea to go back on the field and play again.
Yeah,
I drive you insane. Dude, you're beating up the pinball machine before the show. All right, your offense is scuffling. You're not scoring points. You're not moving the ball. As a player, are you like sitting around, with the other offensive guy saying, are you just worried about doing your job and doing the best you can to maybe that'll kick the offense in gear? Are you sitting around maybe with your dudes going, this offense, man, why aren't we doing this or we're not doing that? How does it go in the room with the other offensive players when your offense is scuffling? How much of it is second-guessing the scheme or the play calling, or are you just so busy trying to do your stuff right, that's all you're caring about?
It depends on if you're the one making the mistake or not. Like, it depends on who you are in that offensive huddle, who you are in that offensive room. If you're the running back and you're trying to hit the correct hole, but the O lineman's laying a block and you're getting smoked in the face, 2 yards deep. There's times where you got to grow up here and grab that guy that's bigger than you, O lineman, and say, hey, make your damn block. Make your block. And that should happen in the huddle then and there. This is where it's hard with the guys moving and transferring in. These all 1-year guys and younger guys and whatever. You talk about the unit, the chemistry, and all that we have. It's tough nowadays with that stuff. So, and now they're getting paid with all this stuff too. Earn your paycheck. I don't know what you have to say to these guys anymore. Back in the day, they knew they missed a block and they felt bad about it. Sometimes they'd go back, hey, whoever it was, hey, Brood, hey, Derek, my bad. I got you next time. Whatever. It was like my fault. I don't see any of that crap anymore. That's not just Gamecocks. That's everywhere. And it's times where hold yourself accountable, but hold your teammates accountable. And but you have to, again, you have to be doing the right thing to hold anybody else accountable. If you look in the mirror and you're the one wrong, you can't go yell at somebody else. So it depends on who you are, and that's why I said there isn't that guy, and it should be 16. And he's just so quiet. And he's a hell of an athlete. I love the man, but he's too daggone quiet. He should be throwing crap at everybody on the he should be, they're getting penalties on his own teammates by the time if you're getting hit that many times, if it's his fault. Now, if you're supposed to release the ball quicker, that's where a left tackle or center, hey man, get rid of the damn ball. Whatever it is. This time, so it's so hard. And if I'm an OC catching this much crap and it's not my fault, it's the quarterback's fault or the O-line's fault, I can't believe you don't see him throwing things at them. It's just someone's got to find some fire up there besides Shane. It's tough, and he wears it on his sleeve to a fault almost. But it's time for everybody else to wear this. Follow your coach's lead a little bit. Find that fire. Find the. I don't want to lose anymore. I don't want to lose a single step anymore. Not just the game, but every battle is a game within a game. I don't want to lose that. Stop doing it. Figure out a way to stop doing that. You have moments where you look awesome, and then all of a sudden you just go backwards. You have and it's a snowball effect, and with the defense and all that stuff too. It's like you watch. It's like defense. Yeah, you're holding them. They're making it where hey, we're still in the game. We are, but you're still making mistakes. They're letting big runs happen, letting things happen. And they're not perfect. No one's going to be perfect in this game, but it's at the same time hold each other accountable, and let's feed off each other when you do make something good happen, and let's yell at somebody, or at least hey, if you can, be a leader. And tell them to pick their ass up and let's go.
I want to pick it back up there on the other side in terms of the leadership part. I also have a couple of stats to ask you about in terms of what it does to a mindset. Brews Day rolling on here on a Tuesday postgame show. Palmetto Propane's been doing what they do since 1959, and they know that as the holidays near, getting your family and friends around that big, beautiful holiday fire is a great tradition. Hanging the stockings, getting warm. Some of you might even roast chestnuts. I don't know. I've never really done that. Probably should. Let Palmetto Propane upgrade your fireplace, whether it's propane or natural gas. Premium gas logs, complete installation and service. You can actually see and feel a lot of these fireplaces at any of the Palmetto Propane Hearth and Patio home store showrooms, Lexington, West Columbia, Batesburg, Aiken, Augusta. Fireplaces, gas logs, outdoor fire features and heaters, grills and accessories, even the Renai tankless water heater. While you don't really see that a lot, trust me, makes a big difference. Find a Palmetto Propane Hearth and Patio home store near you and learn more when you log on to palmettopropane.com. Welcome back in. Brews Day continues here on this Tuesday afternoon. It's the Postgame Show. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. We were talking about leadership and in a way, a lack thereof. I'm curious, Ryan, I mean, we hear this a lot from coaches. Like, I can't make a guy be a leader. Some guys are the leaders by example. But when there is a glaring hole for leadership, who turns to whom to fix it? Is that, I mean, I'm sure Shane has some form of a leadership council, or is it Shane is the head coach and he needs to turn to someone other than a player he knows isn't vocal? Is this a catch-22? I mean, where and what?
That's tough, man.
Because I know you guys, y'all didn't have that problem. I mean,
no,
there
we
was
were guys battling each other to be the leader, and that's a great problem to have. You know, you don't have, if you have, I don't know. We always had a quarterback too that was never, always going to speak his mind, no matter what it was, good, bad, ugly. We've always had that quarterback. We always had the linebackers. We had, Langston. We had guys, on defense, with face that, not just with actions but with words would make would go out there and you have to listen to him. You have to see what's going on because you look in the eyes. You said this guy means business. I don't know, and I'm not in the locker room. I'm not on the field, but I can just see it on the sideline. I don't see that guy. I said Oklahoma had that guy on both sides of the field, and they're both wearing number 10. But number 10 for defense, I don't know if you watched him. It was borderline arrogant, talking trash, talking to fans, but then he always went to his teammates and pumped them up. Mm-hmm. A great play was made. He would talk the junk, and he'd back it up, but then he'd always go to his teammates and get them fired up again. And when a bad play was made, I watched him, and he'd go to his teammates, hey, man, he'd slap him on the ass, say, hey, let's play. Yes, you got this. He was that type of guy. And I don't see that even defensively when we're having good plays. Yeah, they're celebrating, but it's not – there's not a quote-unquote leader, right? The guy out there doing that. And I might be wrong, but that's what I see.
I get it.
Right? And the thing, I don't know if you all watched Game Day when Pavia was doing the interview. And that's borderline. This he's above everybody when it comes to like just the arrogance and but crossing that line. That was one of the best interviews I've seen. Because he was literally doing warm-ups, calling routes to his guys, talking to Reese, Herb Street, even Coach, and talking how great, hey, I haven't met you, but talking how you're the GOAT. Hey, run a hitch real quick. And he's stopping the interview, talking. This guy just has this aura around him. That like he is the leader of leaders. Like he's the guy that's gonna no matter who's around him, someone came to talk to him while he's doing the interview. He's like, hold on a minute. It's just like I got this. I don't care who I'm talking to. Oh, Nick Saban, hold on 1 second. You are the go to coaches, but hold on. Like it's just like
we got to run a hitch. I'll be right with you, Saban. Yeah. Well, to your point, it's this guy came in and changed the entire program's culture. Not just the offense. He walked in and said, look, I know you guys have been in the basement of the SEC so long, it's decorated in Commodore gear, but that bleep changes now. Because I ain't here to lose. And if you're here to lose, you can get out, because we ain't losing anymore. And to what you said, my first thought is always, well, a lot of times, like last year with South Carolina, it was a great mix, right? You had all these guys like Boogie and Tonka who had come through for years, right? But then you brought in a guy like Knight, he showed up and everybody just went, we're not worthy, like Wayne's World. Like, this guy's a leader. He's a dude. So it's just, like Jay said, if you're a leader, you're a leader, right? I mean, can some guys become something like that at some point as they get older? Maybe. But typically that gene's in you, right, somewhere?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, it's but you can learn it as you get, when you become better, like for even Little League up, and you're like the top dog in whatever sport you're playing, you're either going to be that little arrogant little jerk, or you're going to try to bring everyone around you, and try to make everybody around you better. That could be by actions. That could be by words. I wasn't a big talker at all in high school. I led by actions. Like even my head coach back then was like, "Man, I can't believe you even do radio because you wouldn't talk to anybody. You wouldn't. You talk to absolutely no. Like interviews afterwards, I would tell. It was Bill Begley. I remember the guy, and I say, "Hey, just write down whatever you think I'd say." I'd walk away.
God,
I didn't care. I didn't care. I just had like 300 something yards or whatever. I was like, just whatever you think. And he always wrote perfect stuff. And I was like, man, great grammar and everything.
Brewer 17 said, Earl Campbell ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah. So, but it was, but like I was not. But in practice, I wanted to be first in everything I did. right? And then the next guy, like a guy like Joe Folker, or I had other guys like linebackers, and then Dealman, who played in the league forever. These guys, then we start competing against each other. And it starts in the offseason. You start competing. I want to be first, you first, and then you start getting better and better. And that happens in college. You bring it in, like you have to have that just inside of you, you want to win at everything you do. And then either people are going to grab onto it or not. If they don't want to grab on, it's fine. I don't care. I'm still going to beat you at it. Right? And then all of a sudden people start gravitating around it. And then if you have vocal guys too, all of a sudden you realize, hey, they're following. And when it comes to your actions, now I can, hey, leader-wise, let's pump it. Let's get this going. Everybody get moving. We got to push a little harder. We got to do this, that. And then you become that leader. It's easy. If you're as good and talented as Lenoris is, it should come natural for him just to say, guys, pick it up. And they'd be like, yes, sir.
Right.
It's almost that easy for him. He's that talented. And that's the guy that has to do it.
Let's get on the phone lines. Andy has a question about what we're talking about around Carolina football. Andy, good afternoon.
Hey, guys. How is everybody today?
Doing well, thank you.
Doing good, man.
It's a beautiful day. I thought about this actually a couple of games ago and this weekend, but it came back to me, and Ryan, has a unique perspective on this. One thing I've noticed, like when other teams, and it has to deal with the wide receivers, like when it breaks down, which it does a lot. I won't go into that. We all know the situation and what problems Carolina has, but as far as the receivers, when everything breaks down and he's running for his life, looking for someone to get open, it doesn't seem like anybody's like, is that something that the receivers are taught to get open, or just oh crap, he's scrambling. Everything's out the window. Let me try and find a way to get open, or it just. Because a lot of times the camera is on him scrambling and you don't see what the receivers are doing. So are they taught? Is that just innate? Is it, how does it seems like we would have some possibilities there for them to get open because they're worried about him scrambling. And I'll hang up and listen.
All right, Andy.
Yeah, right. It's definitely it's taught. It's taught from when you're little. Deep guys come short guys go deep type deal. Find open. It depends on this man-to-man versus zone. Find if you're running a middle route in his zone, you're trying to follow the receiver or the quarterback's eyes, trying to get into a zone that he sees you. You see it all the time, especially the NFL. The last couple weeks, especially red zone stuff like that. The red zone touchdown was pretty much what they're doing. What Harbor was doing, he's following them. You make sure trying to get in that zone there. He still had the hitch route earlier to Hunt, but that's just part of it. Now it becomes you have an athlete at the quarterback situation. You got, all right, is he about to run? Do I need to block? Do I need it? But if eyes are locked on you as a receiver and you're running deep and you can run them off and your quarterback's going to run, just keep going. Give him space. Try to figure out a way to space. If eyes aren't on you, it's zone, you try to find the zone, make sure you're making eye contact with the quarterback and figure out what he's doing. He starts running, just go blast the heck out of the guy next to you. But yeah, it's definitely taught. If you're deep, you're coming short. If you're short, go deep, try to get open and make a play.
Andy, thanks for the phone call. Let me do this real quick because we got time here. Our Ryan Brewer visits are always sponsored by some of the finest people we know, including the boss of the company. It's one Ryan Brewer Fence.
Yeah, just Ryan Brewer Fence. Go to ryanbrewer.net for all your fencing, railings, columns, custom. Like I said, anything custom. You dream it, we can pretty much make it. Steel and aluminum stuff right now.
Ryan bends most of the aluminum.
Yeah, we just
by hand.
That's how he works
hand
out.
Forged.
Yeah.
Different way of hand forging. So,
why do I want to believe that?
It's
So why are these handprints all over this? I don't understand.
But just visit us on social medias, Instagram, and I think we got some stuff on Twitter. But really, just Instagram's our biggest thing with our pictures, what we do. But anytime you have a pool, you get a new dog, or you just need some privacy fence around your house, so we can take care of you. Go to ryanbrewer.net.
There you go. Good stuff. First-hand experience on amazing work.
I appreciate it.
I need to call.
A good one.
I need to call Casey for the finishing touch because we talked about that too. So I can.
Ryan built a fence for my car.
Oh yeah.
Where I live. It's beautiful. Appreciate it, man.
You just collapsible.
Exactly.
Stick in the trunk. Nobody's taking this thing.
That's right, baby.
All right. I do have that stat I want to get to with Brew about something that happened, and we've obviously got to get his take on what's coming into town this Saturday. Brew's Day edition of the Postgame Show rolling on.
We talk a ton about CHW Cabinetry, and I'm sitting here right now looking at the CHW Cabinetry website. And you want to know what can be done for your home from CHW Cabinetry, just go to chwcabinetry.com. See Omega Cabinetry, Winbrook Cabinetry, just you name the brand. Pretty much it can be done for you from CHW Cabinetry. And look, they have these photorealistic renderings from start to finish. You get to see everything, how it's going to go. Very important in this whole process. You just give those folks a call at CHW Cabinetry, Star and the crew. You contact them, sit down, and you just tell them what you're looking for, your budget, your vision, all those things, and they will make it happen for you. 803-520-6837, 803-520-6837 at CHW Cabinetry. Photorealistic renderings and great customer service. Accidents to let you know about this afternoon. Faro Road between Hardin Street and South Carolina 277. Also Hardin Street at Gervais. Lower Richland Boulevard at Garner's Ferry as well.
All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes. It did. You're right.
Yeah, it slipped. What can I say? Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, I thought it was a solid intro back into the program.
I thought your rejoin
I thought it was
good.
Great. I thought it was dynamite.
But,
so I disagree with
Chris Logan.
I disagree
our
with
production
Chris.
director thought it really sucked. Yeah. Brewer agreed with Logan. I saw Brewer shaking his head. Yes.
Yeah, I did. I thought I hit the button.
Hang on, Terry. I'm getting a text from someone who wants to call into the show. So I'm texting him the phone number because for some reason, after a gajillion years of knowing the phone number, he seems to have forgotten it. So let me do this real fast. All right, live radio.
Hey Ryan, what are you up to?
I've sent it. So Terry, be watching for a phone call.
We're going to save that right there for the Star Awards. That was a fantastic moment of radio we just put together. Us three.
I'm big on the Star Awards, man. They don't even let me apply anymore. So
anyway. Your face comes up on that email.
Oh yeah, sure.
You're not allowed to apply.
Sure. I get it. Yeah, be looking. I think you might.
I think I see it now.
Yeah. So we'll get that guy. All right, Bama's coming in.
Yeah, don't worry. It's just Alabama coming here now.
Yeah,
it's probably caught them at the right time. It's not they're not hot. They're not playing well. They're down a little bit. Man,
didn't just come off beating a rival by 17.
Here's the craziest part about it, and I'm not gonna. I think this could get ugly, depending on. But if we if we figure out a way to put the ball in the end zone, which is the number one biggest if we have, I still think we're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're holding guys.
I don't disagree.
It's been the last couple games. We're in one score for and we just got to find a way to break through, get some freaking positive mojo going on that sideline, and we're right there. But we got to stop playing just simple. We got to find a way to stretch defense. We got to find a way for just stop missing blocks. And
there doesn't seem to be a lot of confidence in that part of the equation.
No, because it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
And, every week I'm like, we're going to get better. No, it hasn't happened. So we got to find a way to have a miracle here. And But the fans got to have their back. Really, they really do.
Our next guest, who you also know well, would tell you that at this point in the season, when you're going into Game 8, you are who you are, and since you can't make trades, you got to deal with it. He is our good friend Michael Haney, joining us. Are you in Nashville? Or are you on tour somewhere? Or are you in some
Prison? Is this one phone call for bail?
Are you on some starlet's patio? You know.
Well, you know that. And Keith
all of
Urban
the
and
above.
Nicole Kidman are not apart, or aren't together anymore. Maybe Haney is, helping her get over Keith Urban.
Good for you, dude.
You know, Terry, you joke, but I actually found out she was walking on a greenway around my neighborhood last week, and I was like, I suddenly want to start jogging again. So.
Wow.
Just start right when you see her, so you're not out of breath before you get there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Then try to do an Australian accent. Good eye.
There we go.
Good eye, Nikki.
Good day, mate.
Good eye, Nikki.
That'll win her over.
How are you?
Crikey, have a Foster's.
Yeah.
Listen there, mate. We'll be all right.
Don't worry about Keith. Anyway, all right. That's enough Australian accents for the day. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man. I appreciate you asking.
Yeah. I understand you're. Might need to give you the Above and Beyond award for doing whatever it takes to not have to watch South Carolina play offense again.
Dang. Too soon.
Okay. All right. No. I just, man, I just wanted to call and give you some love, brother. You know, I know you put some stuff out there about what you're going through, and I would be remiss if I didn't jump in and let everybody know. Of course, I've got your back, and anything that you need, any help that you need. You know, Ryan's talking about we all got to rally around the Gamecocks. Well, let's all rally around J2, man. I know you've been going through a lot, and you've been there when the days have been tough. So just let you know we're all going to be there for you when you might have some tough days coming ahead.
Well, thanks, man. You know, you and Deuce were magnificent for me, and Brent and Bill and the whole crew all those years ago when Sonny and I were doing this when she had her cancer, and so you've been there, and your sweet mama has reached out to me as well, and I appreciate that, and your family. But thank you, and you know, I know we talked for a while last night, but I'll say again to you and everybody else, I'm staying positive, and doing all I can, and we'll see where we go next. Not sure of all those things yet, but working on it. And but thanks, man. I know whether it's the daily thing, and now it's Terry's turn to play the role of Michael Haney's support guy. I don't know who you want to come play Deuce.
No. I'm playing Deuce by doing that.
Yeah, you. I was looking at Ryan. Yeah, I was looking at Ryan, but
He's looking at me, Haney, but you can do it.
Well, why can't I? Why I get stuck being Haney? Why can't I be Deuce?
Well, because Haney and Ryan both have enough girth
You're saying I'm not girthy enough to be Deuce?
To be Deuce.
I lack girth.
If
Thanks,
necessary,
Jay.
in a relative sense, yes, I am saying that. I'm sorry.
We can hear the rest of that conversation in the fourth hour of the
That's right.
That's a
special podcast.
That's a fourth
That's
hour
right.
edition.
Brewer's already wiped out the stream with what he's been saying,
Yeah,
so we're
sorry.
good.
Well, thanks, man, for checking in, and I appreciate you. We'll holler at you, but yeah, we may need to lean on you, so be ready. All right, be ready to come out of the bullpen. Warm it up.
We'll do.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, that's our buddy Michael Haney. Appreciate you.
Talk soon.
Brew, appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for the support.
We got you, buddy.
All the time. We'll do it again here real soon. And another Brews Day coming at us here in just a week's time. All right, good stuff. That's hour number 1 in the books. Let you hear what Shane had to say, get into a few other things going on around college football. It's the Postgame Show. All right, 4 o'clock. Welcome back in. Second hour of the Postgame Show rolling along from the Herndon Chevy Studios in downtown Columbia. He's Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Ryan Brewer just leaving. RyanBrewer.net for all your fencing needs. Always appreciate Brew's time. And thanks to Michael Haney for he just texted. He says, I hope somewhere somebody laughed at the joke. It was funny. That was funny. It was funny.
It's funny I've talked on the phone.
That's how, the thing is, I think, and I know it's been a while, and you know enough, but that's the kind of like humor that Michael and I share with one another.
Absolutely.
So,
well, he was funny. So he calls in, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, and he's like, I'm trying to watch Monday Night Football, and Jay's interrupting me with this stuff, and I'm trying to concentrate on the game. And I said, she just told him, hey Jay, I ain't got time for you right now. I'm trying to watch the Bucs.
Yeah.
Get back to me later.
What he should have done. That's what he should have done.
Because that would have been totally him, right?
Yeah.
If he just said, hey Jay, that's really interesting, but
especially
right now,
after I told him everything that was going on.
What
He's like, oh, that's cool. Let me, I'll call you back.
I'll get back to you after the game.
I'll call you back. But
he's
anyway,
a good dude, man.
No, he's
good man.
He's the best.
Good man.
And his mom did call me. So we're not being, I guess coy is not the right word here. And as I've said, I'm not attempting to make this about me, but I am sharing. I opened the program letting everyone know that the reason I was out yesterday is because I was having a procedure done, which did determine that I have been diagnosed with bladder cancer, and I'm assured it's treatable. I otherwise feel great. I really do. My last full regular physical was excellent. I mean, and I've talked to my regular doctor on multiple occasions in the last few days. I have another procedure to go do on Friday, and at least this time, unlike yesterday's, I get knocked out for this one, which I think is going to better considering what I went through
That's
yesterday.
a good thing, man. That's a good thing.
But when I wake up, I'm not going to be in a great place. But but then we'll know more, a little bit more on Friday, I think, and then a little more after that with something else that goes on next week, and then then we'll see. Then we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But as I say, I otherwise I feel good. I'm in good shape for a guy who turned 55 yesterday. But I humbly appreciate all of the kind words that have come my way in the last little bit. We just started telling people last night, really late. So wanted to tell my family first, and Terry has been aware for a little bit here because I needed him to know, and he's been fantastic, both as just a friend and certainly as a colleague. And again, I'll be away on Friday. I'll be away next Tuesday, and then we'll see after that. I'll be around. Now, don't worry. I'm not like just out, but we'll see where things go in the coming weeks and months. But there will certainly be other absences, and there's no great time for it, but especially during football season, even if things aren't the best. One thing I didn't get into, and I apologize because I know I teased it a couple of times, and that's one of the things that as my program director likes to remind me to pay off the tease. But one thing, and you and I can talk about it. Maybe I should have just had Brew hang around, except that he has things to do. Oklahoma had 6 sacks and 13 tackles for loss. I think Carolina had 1 sack and 3 tackles for loss.
Yep.
And, I'm not trying to directly compare the defenses, I guess, because Carolina's defense, I think, has performed pretty well. I know you look at a lot of the metrics, and at least going into the game,
it's been a top 20, top 25 defense. Problem is Oklahoma is number 2 or 3 in some metrics.
But when your offense just, I think the offense, certainly the word I won't use is invited Oklahoma in to do what they did. But, again, I'm curious, Terry, to two things. One, how many conversations have Shane Beamer and Mike Shula already had about, when I say the play calling, what I mean is the plays to be called, number one, and then to the manner in which Mike is trying to do it. Because one of the things we've talked about, I think we saw it a little bit again the other day, you'll start out with some things, and then you just kind of get into, I'll use it for the other day, the rut. You know, just, hey, let's run between the tackles. Let's try to set up the play action. But if you're not blocking, or if the guys are getting in, you know, and I know a lot of you ask it somewhat rhetorically, somewhat, you know, very specifically, why don't they roll out more? You know, and you mentioned one of the plays. What was the one you were talking about? The fourth and goal.
Yeah, the fourth and goal. And this is where just me, again, just a dude watching the game. When I always say this, you and I always have this conversation, are you putting your guys in the best position to succeed? And I'm just watching that fourth and goal play. Elijah and I were in the office, and, you know, in my palatial estate, and I'm watching the play. And obviously it didn't work. And Linares, you know, what one look, one read, and takes off because he's about to be, you know, crushed by the pass rush. So I'm like, Elijah, let's watch the wide receivers real quick. Let's take a look at this thing. So not to get too football-y, you got 3 wide to the right. Trips right is what you call it, right? You got 3 wide receivers to the right. You got 1 to the left. And when you watch those 3 wide receivers, like a lot of times, Jade, again, this is not like, wow. You see a lot of this. A lot of really good offenses when they run pass concepts, especially against man-to-man, and they put that, like those 3 guys wide, they run pick routes, rub plays. They're trying to confuse those 3 DBs to get a guy open, right? And usually you're running a guy maybe in the corner. Some guy will run in the end zone, maybe, you know, do a certain route, and then some guy will take the middle of the field between the hashes on a crosser, on a slant, whatever, because you want to confuse these dudes and you want to affect every area of the field. Make sense? Yeah. And that's just stuff we hear from all the good offensive minds. Or the guys that play Madden. So,
like Woody Johnson's kid.
Exactly. The experts. So you watch these 3 guys. You got Brady Hunt out wide. Now, look, no offense. I think Brady Hunt's got some skills, and he's a good tight end. But is he really the guy you want out wide to be the contest guy in the corner of the end zone, contest catch guy? I don't know. I guess that's what they were doing. I wouldn't choose that. If I'm putting a guy to run the corner route to catch the jump ball, it's Harbor. That's just me. We got Harbor, Bennett, and Hunt. Hunt's out wide to the boundary. Then you've got Bennett and you got Harbor. But they didn't run any pick route. No rub play. No nothing to discombobulate the defensive backs. They just all kind of 3 ran the corner, kind of stood around. So nobody was cutting into the middle of the field where there's an easier throw for Linares. Again, a crosser, a slant. And then Jacobs runs into the other corner. So you've got all these receivers in the corners. No one's running in the middle of the field at all to affect the defense. It's just that's always my question of, are we putting guys in the best position to succeed or help the quarterback succeed? And so if Linares even had time to throw on that play is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The route combination, nobody was open.
You weren't going to hit a pass.
Because there's nothing there. And and I would love to say, Mike, you're 100 times smarter than me. Please tell me about this play because my dopey butt doesn't understand it.
Well, and that comes back to my question about what kind of conversation Shane is having, because as we've talked about a bunch, we've seen this head coach in his tenure have those conversations and make those adjustments. You know, for the first time in his career at Carolina, you know, we saw, of course, this is just only head coaching job, but we saw him, you know, dismiss someone off the staff in the middle of the season. But we've seen alterations, and we've seen them have, you know, some positive effects, some more than others, right? And I have to believe, and you know, Shane isn't going to go into it too much. You know, again, there was a lot, and we'll get into some sound here in a little bit of stay the course kind of stuff. But I have to believe that they've had some really in-depth conversations. And I'm not going to sit here and believe that Mike Shula is, you know, being insubordinate.
No.
Because I don't believe that. And to say, hey, Shane, listen, I'm the offensive coordinator, period. You know, that's not happening.
No.
But, you know, and that's why I asked Ryan, and he said it is a real mixed bag. How much of this is Mike simply believing, hey, you see what I have to work with? Again, I always kind of joke about that scene in the Michael Keaton Batman when the Joker's getting done. You're like, you see what I have to work with? I'm in a rusty, dank basement with some bad medical tools. I'm sorry that your face is now, you know, permanently fixed in a smile. But you know, is that what we're looking at? Like, hey, I got 3 starters out on my offensive line. I've got a receiving core that just can't really ever seem to get going. I've got running backs that have moments, but maybe a guy that's good with the ball isn't as good without it, and I don't know where to mix and match. I've got a quarterback who's maybe in his head. I'm just trying to hey, eventually we're going to run this play correctly, and I'm going to run some variation of the same kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying that's what's happening or what they're talking, because I want to believe they really are attempting to be productive.
you don't think,
but
if they want to score 7,
but you're not seeing, you're just not seeing it. And look, I know a lot of people that's a tough way to end a game when you're, I mean, that was a loud chant. It was not hard to understand what fans were saying, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean is dismiss the offensive coordinator, but it
very
was
loudly.
but it was only 3 syllables,
right?
Look, is it because you can't? And I don't mean because, I mean, you can if you want to, but is there a plan B? I mean, with Sean Elliott, that's a really solid plan B.
Yeah.
Do you now want Sean, who has some experience as a play caller, trying to do what he's got to do to replace a staffer and then go do this? Or is there anybody else? Like, I understand the want.
Right.
But there's also a need, and I don't know where that rub is, man.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Furry, remember, he was a head coach, and I believe he put together the offense when he was a head coach. I mean, I don't know how much that translates to taking over play calling in the SEC. You're right, Sean Elliott's got experience. I mean, Blackwell was an offensive coordinator at one point. I believe it's South Florida. So, I mean, you got some guys on staff that have done some things. Here's what it just feels like to me. I think we just saw Shane Beamer let go of the offensive line coach because he figured we had to go another direction, right? Well, I've gone as far as I can. I got to go in another direction. Mike Shula, does he think what Mike Shula is doing is systematically what he wants, and eventually they're going to get it right over repetition and because they think it's the right thing? Does Shane think it's an execution thing over a system or play calling thing? I don't know. But also, to your point, you just got rid of the offensive line coach. Do you want to then, in a week or two later, get rid of your offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, look, something has to change. Something has to be adjusted. I mean, like Ryan said, you know how close you are at times, and I agree with him. We talk about the Missouri and LSU games. Halfway through the fourth quarter, you're down 1 score with the ball. That needs to be a time where you make that adjustment, where you find that way. And instead, in both games, you went 3 and out.
Yeah,
and you just there's a lack of. I don't know if there's a lack of urgency, but a lack of imagination, a lack of creativity, a way to get defenses off balance that I felt like last year Dowell was finding. Yes, sometimes it was the play breaking down and Lenoris running, but that happens with a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of guys that can run. There's a very big difference, it seems, in the scrambling Lenoris and the run it on purpose Lenoris. And again, I don't want the play to break down Lenoris to run, but you know what? If that's my best option, then dadgummit, go do it. That's like that guy that used to sit in front of us. Dadgummit.
That's a new play in the playbook.
So, but seriously, I totally. I mean, it's not hard to understand the frustration levels.
Well, the other part is,
and then some.
Not to be mean, if Taylor Green at Arkansas can be a dual threat maniac, running for 780, 90 yards and throwing it for 230, 240, 250, why can't Lenore Sellers be that guy in some shape or form? Other quarterbacks do this all over the country. Lenore's did it last year for 6 games. Why can't it happen this year? Why all of a sudden these things are stuck?
Yeah.
That's the big question that obviously we're not there. We don't have the answer. We just shake our head.
We'll get you some sound from Shane coming up. Start, bench, drop. Most surprising top 20 teams in college football so far this season. Georgia Tech, South Florida, Virginia. Again, not the most exciting one, but did you expect any of those to be where they are? It's the Tuesday postgame show. Too often, guys don't go to the doctor when they're feeling off. Something's not right. They're not as performative as they had been in their youth, whatever it might be. Bedroom, boardroom, weight room, game room, meeting room. Don't be that guy. Instead, get to feeling better when you see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the men's clinic. You sit down with Dan and the crew. They talk with you. They learn about you. They figure things out. They'll do some blood work. They'll do some testing. And then they'll prescribe a treatment that's just right for you. No magic pills, no former athletes that want to tell you, hey, don't worry about it. It's all good if you just take this. Nope, that's not how it works. These are medical professionals. They've been doing this a long time. They are experts in healthcare for men, dedicated to getting you back to feeling the way you used to and the way you want to. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. 803-875-MENS. Go see the men's clinic.
And then you mentioned kind of with the offense that you have to look at it, evaluate it, and say, hey, do we need less or do we need more? As you've looked through it this week with you and Mike and the rest of the offensive staff, do you think you need less or do you think you need more?
Yes.
Jordan K. with the question. Considerably longer than Shane's one-word answer. I get it. Welcome back in, Jay and Terry with you, and that goes to exactly what Terry and I were just discussing when it comes to play calling and the offense, because that is clearly the focus of everyone. I think the head coach, his coordinator, his players, and the fans of this football team. It's like I said, I think some of the things that we watched on Saturday, I use the word puzzling. I like, man, that's not working. And you know, what I don't know, before I just sit here and say things like fire everybody, which is easy enough to do. And listen, had there been a change, by the way, I would not have been surprised.
No.
And part of what we do here when we don't have answers, and a lot of us, whether we're, guys like Terry and me that do what we do for a living, or those of you who are fans and listen and chime in with us. And by the way, if you would like to, 803-404-6100, AAA phone lines, or Firehouse Subs text line. Is the reason Mike Shula is still here is because there is a belief that Shane thinks they can get this turned around with what they have to work with? Is it because there isn't anyone a la Shane or Sean Elliott behind Lonnie Teasley to turn to for a truly experienced? I mean, you still got to go play 3 top 10 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess did Mississippi drop out? Where are they now? They're like 12th.
Yeah, they're still top 15 though.
But they're still
3 top 15
they're
teams.
still really good.
Yeah, I mean they had Georgia on the ropes at Georgia.
I get it, but what is there to turn to? I think that's just a very legitimate question. But I do not, in any way, shape, or form, discount the need for different. But I just don't know what that looks like. Like we said, we could do a lot of things to just go, well, just do this or just do that. Do they have the personnel to just do this or just do that? How much of this is about the lack of a cohesive offensive line again? I mean, the shadows of 2023 have been cast all over this football team. You've got an NFL caliber quarterback and what?
Yeah,
right?
Do you remember this? Because I brought this up yesterday. 2 years ago, we were at Birdies for Beamer, and we had Dow hanging out with us because Dow was great at Birdies for Beamer. He was an all-timer. And we asked him how much of the offensive line's chaos, how much did that affect your play calling and how you put together a game plan and what you were running since the offensive line was just getting torched every week? And he was like, oh, yeah. There's things you can't run, things you can't call, things you can't implement in the game plan. There's things you got to throw out of your system. When your offensive line is scuffling and struggling, there's only certain things you think you can do or have confidence in doing. What you just said, how much of that is the offensive line has had so much trouble that you're scared to call certain things? You've just thrown things out of your playbook. Those are things we just don't know. And does it circle around to your point, Jay? And we've said this all year. Is it just as simple as you're losing at the line of scrimmage? No. Is that 78% of your problem or whatever? Is it that easy and that simple? And if they were blocking and executing and rolling people over and up for the Joe Moore Award, would all this be so much better? I think it would be a percentage better, right?
Yes, it would. And that again comes back to the need to make the Teasley change, but expecting, just a massive turnaround right away, I think is unrealistic. But at the same time, I come back around to Ryan and one of his points too about the intangibles of leadership or a lack thereof for this team right now. You can't force somebody who's a solid lieutenant to become a general.
Right.
There's a process there, yeah? And I don't know that Carolina has that right now in terms of the personnel able to go do that and to light that fire. And I agree, when we talk to enough players, and I have in my career, and a lot of you that listen or just know this, and Terry, you even I forget if we were talking to Langston a couple of weeks ago and you asked about this. I think it was Langston. Ownership from within is paramount. It's it's paramount.
Yep.
And if you don't have it, what else, how many other things that you need will actually come forward. And so, and it's not that these guys don't care when we talk about ownership, you or me, but ownership and leadership don't have to be synonymous, but you better have some of both.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So again, are there and Ryan mentioned a couple of guys on the OU team that seemed to do their job individually and then immediately turn to the other 10 and go like, all right, here we go.
And I think Ryan nailed this, though. And you and I have had this conversation when we talk about leadership. Because we did say in the offseason, one of our questions was going to be who's going to step up and be the leaders on this team because you lost so much. But, okay, let's go to the offense real quick. All right, really no one on the offensive line because you've got to be able to do your job. Because no one's going to listen to you if you're not doing your job, right? If you stink, you can't be, hey, guys, we got to shut up.
Yeah.
You're third string.
Yeah.
We'll stuff you in a locker. Across the offensive line, no one. The wide receivers, really no one's been consistent enough to be called that guy.
And can I pause you right there? That maybe to me has been injuries to offensive linemen I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
The inability, it seems, to get this wide receiver core going has again, I'm going to keep using this word now. Maybe it might be my new buzzword for the end of the season, Terry, puzzling.
Mm-hmm.
You got talent there.
There's a ton of talent in that room, and it's not translating consistently on the field.
And there again, are they not doing their part well enough, or is it the lack of time? Again,
are they being schemed up to go to their strengths? I don't know. That's the thing. I wish I could just. I wish I don't know what wasn't the answer. No.
But it is. And here's the thing, and maybe go back to another one of Ryan's answers from the first hour, and maybe even a little play off of what Shane just said. Is it that you don't have a great running back? Is it you have too many injuries up front? Is it you can't get the wide receivers going? Is that your quarterback is in his head? Yes?
Yeah.
Is it unimaginative play calling at times? I mean, because it can't, maybe it's yes, and where does it stem from? And I know that's why people say, well, then it's time for a change at the top of the offense. I understand that. It's just that may not come until January.
Well, here's the thing. This is just look at the numbers, use your eyes, whatever. This is one of the worst offenses in America.
Yeah.
It just is.
Oh, it is.
And when you're one of the worst offenses in America, it's not just one thing. Now, it could be you can start with, okay, the coordinator. But it's not just the coordinator. I mean, guys are missing blocks. Are guys getting open? I don't know. Is the quarterback making the correct reads all the time? I don't know. Is he too busy running for his life to make a correct read? I don't know. Are the running backs, do they miss, holes, or are they not, doing the things they're supposed to? Are they not doing it because, well, they have no confidence in the offensive line? All these things could be because when you're this bad, Jay, it's not just one thing.
Right.
It's a multitude of things.
And the one thing I don't think it is, Terry, is an accumulation of talent.
There's talent there.
There's a lot of highly rated recruits
so that
on that
takes
team,
me back to this.
Led at least talent-wise by someone that most believe will be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft.
And that will lead me back to this question. Is all this talent being put in the correct position to succeed?
And that comes back again to the top of the offense.
Because you got to look at your talent and build your offense around your talent.
803-404-6100. If you would like to weigh in, please do so. Lots more to do as the Tuesday postgame show rolls on. Had a great time the other day at US Brick. Mikey Johnson and the crew having us at their brand new location, the Exterior Design Center, the first of its kind in Columbia. Stop in there. It's a true one-stop shop if you are building a brand new home, or maybe you are building some really good accessories, or at least things that you want to be really good accessories out back, like a fire feature or retaining walls. See these bricks. You see them. They've got them. Terry, you saw them. They're on the wall. There's, I don't know, dozens of styles of brick. There's dozens of styles of stone. See it, touch it, feel it. Understand how it will look at your house. The Design Center has a great workspace. You can bring your architect or your designer with you, lay all the stuff out, work with the experts at US Brick, and make this dream of yours, whether it's a home or, again, accessorizing your home, a great reality. They're at 300 UG Street. Check them out. Again, one of a kind in Columbia, the Exterior Design Center at US Brick.
Our first check on the traffic. I have a few accidents. Barnwell Street at Laurel. Also, Burgess Road near Highway 17 South. Busby Street near Farrow Road. I-26 westbound at Broad River Road, exit 97. Also, Pickens at Senate in downtown Columbia. Platte Springs Road at South Lake Drive as well. And an accident. Right lanes are blocked. I-26 westbound between US 21, US 176, and US 321. That's exit 115 and Airport Boulevard, exit 113. We'll come back, continue our conversation on the Gamecock offense next on the Postgame Show.
All right, 25 minutes in front of 5 o'clock here on this Tuesday afternoon. Jay and Terry with you. It's the Postgame Show. Before we get to anything else, again, I wasn't here yesterday. Wild Card Showdown results, though. And you want to guess who won?
Jay Phillips.
Boom.
Look at you.
4-1.
Man.
And you know what I missed? And I remember I told you I thought this was the trickiest one to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with the favorite anyway. Texas Tech. That was my wild card game.
Yeah, that's right.
Because there were three. There was Vandy LSU, there was Duke Georgia Tech, and there was Texas Tech Arizona State. And that was the biggest spread at 7.5. But I was like, man, these are tricky games, and I didn't know which one was trickiest. You know. By the way, Vandy. We'll talk about them in the drive around. But I was like, oh, I want to pick Arizona State at home. I really do. But I thought that Texas Tech would find a way to or that State rather would hang around, but the Tech would score late, and make it like a 10-point win.
Right.
That's why I picked Texas Tech.
Well, Texas Tech is loaded. They've been killing people all year, and Arizona State's been.
They're 5-2 now. Yeah, but they're an okay 5-2. They're not they don't have Scatterboo.
Yeah, and look.
How did
Texas
his team
Tech
do on Sunday, by the way? Oh, did I do that? Sorry.
Who beat the Giants?
I don't know.
Who was that?
Was it the Jets?
No, they never beat anybody.
Raiders?
No, they can't beat anybody either. Yeah.
Oh, it was Denver.
Oh, God.
Forgot about that.
I wish I was around a Broncos fan.
Anyway.
I'd love to talk to him about that game.
But I picked Texas Tech, so that was my loss. And I really wanted to pick Arizona State,
funny.
but I was like, no, because of what you just said. I was like, Texas Tech has been really good.
It's been annihilating folks.
But you went 3-2.
Yeah.
Elijah went 3-2.
Well, you mean all three of us had winning records?
We did, and Taylor, Paulie, one of our listeners went 2-3, but Taylor went 3-2. But Taylor wasn't going to beat two of us because you and Elijah both had a higher tiebreaker number, which mattered. The tiebreaker stat was total offense for Diego Pavia against LSU.
And I totally undervalued old Diego Pavia.
Yeah, Elijah did not. And really, here's the thing. If Paulie had been in it, Paulie only missed it by 4. The total number for Diego was 246. Rush pass. Total offense, 246. But again, Paulie didn't factor into the final. But Elijah did. Over you and Taylor, Elijah picked 213. You picked 187, and Taylor picked 171. I actually picked 198, but it didn't matter. So I go 4-1. You and I are now tied at 19-21 against the spread. However, we are still behind Elijah Campbell, who stretches out to 21-19. But I did catch up a little bit, but you and I still, from a Vegas perspective, not really doing our part.
No, not really. You know what? If we can find a way to stumble and bumble around the next couple of weeks, maybe all three of us can get at 500.
Maybe.
And we're embarrassing.
Maybe.
Look, Elijah's 21-19. He's winning.
21-19.
All three of us would be the broke guys in Vegas.
This is one of those years, though. I feel like if you can finish 3, 4, 5, 6 games over 500 at the end of the year, that's probably not going to be so bad because this has been. I'm loving the season so far. I mean, with the exception maybe of the number 1 team in the country, who, Ohio
methodically
State
boring us to death.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State fans love it, but man, I mean,
yeah, they're just rolling.
What's their? Let me look real quick. By the way, what's their hardest game left?
Well, let's see. Is it Michigan?
Well, if it is, then.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we thought they were 20-point favorites ish last year.
Because Penn State's obviously done. Let's see, Ohio State. What do they got here?
All right, here I got it. They got Penn State.
Oh wow, Penn State.
Actually, so Ohio State is off this weekend.
Look at this, Jay.
Yeah, Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and at Michigan.
Ready right now? Maybe it's UCLA on that 3-game heater.
Maybe, but that's in Columbus, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
at Michigan.
Yeah, I guess at Michigan. Let's go to the stats. Ohio State, as we speak, and they do these every day. But as we speak, Ohio State has a 75.3% chance to beat Michigan, according to the computer. Let's see what the Penn State one is. 88.
Rutgers is 97, by the way.
The UCLA one's probably
98.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So basically, they had those Boilers in West Lafayette, 97%.
Because it's on the road, you get the extra percent.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, it's like the 3 points for the spread.
They should basically run over the rest of their schedule and be undefeated.
Yeah, and
they'll play Indiana most likely in the Big Ten championship.
And they are that good. By the way, people said, hey, didn't do Penn State any favors to fire James Franklin and then lose to Iowa. Terry, I kind of thought they might have lost to Iowa anyway.
Could have been. I read a deep dive. on ESPN about this whole Penn State thing, and just people like, the anonymous staffers and the anonymous scouts. And they feel like that Oregon game did two things. A, the team mentally didn't recover from that loss to Oregon in overtime on the whiteout in Happy Valley. And two, the officials, the people, the decision makers of the program after the Oregon loss went like this: bro, we just gave you everything you wanted in the offseason. We got you wide receivers. We paid the quarterback. We paid the running backs. We did everything to set you up to win. We brought you coordinators and spent a lot of money on coordinators.
A lot.
And you lost again to a ranked team, this time at home, in overtime, in a whiteout with 110,000 people. I think that was the ending for him with the people in charge. They were just waiting for their opportunity, and their opportunity obviously came with the losses to Northwestern and UCLA. But the team didn't bounce back. It was almost like the Oregon game kept beating them.
It did, and that's the old adage of don't let it beat you twice. By the way, not that Carolina is ranked, but with the win over Tennessee the other day, Kalen DeBoer goes to 19-3 against ranked teams in his head coaching career. So he's the opposite James Franklin. Like you say, though, his
kryptonite,
is the unranked team on the road. So
when you're a double-digit favorite. I said this to you. Look, to bury the lead, Alabama is coming in here. They beat 4 straight ranked teams, right? They're on a 5-game heater. They're playing well on both sides of the ball. Everything on paper, film, analytics says there's no way Alabama should come to Williams-Brice and lose, the way these two teams are playing. The only thing you can hold on to is Kalen DeBoer's teams in his career, when they're double-digit favorites on the road, can soil themselves. For whatever reason, this happens occasionally. That's what you hang your hat on right now. And the South Carolina plays a clean game.
Well, and that was one of Ryan's final points when we asked him in his last segment this afternoon. Is can you finally put that game together? And we said to him, and he agreed. You've not seen anything yet to suggest that you can. And when you couple some of the things, now Shane says minus Case and Henry. And by the way, if you didn't hear, and we'll have some more in the Gamecock Notebook and in the headlines in a few minutes. But it does appear, according to Coach Beamer today, that Case and Henry's done for the season.
Yeah.
And I would expect that's where it is. I mean, if you could bring him back for that home stretch out of conference, that'd be nice. But Shane said it feels like Kaysen is probably done for the season. Stewart's okay; he practiced, and a few of the other guys that got some bang ups. And boy, the Vakari Swain story was interesting.
That was, wasn't it?
Yeah, with his finger, and y'all can listen to Shane's press conference on. It sounded. By the way, you ever do those things where you're, it sounds like it hurts. Like while you're talking, you're like,
you start moving your hand.
And it's like if the story of it was trying to pop his dislocated finger back in, and they couldn't get it. And I'm like,
have you ever dislocated a finger? I did play basketball. And I hit a pass on top of my finger, and my finger, it looked like an accordion.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a dope. I just pulled it, right? I pulled it straight. I kept playing, finished the game because it was a pickup game. I mean, I got to finish. And then I have a physical therapist friend, and she goes, "What'd you do?" I just pulled it. She goes, "You go to the emergency room?" I said, "No, I went to bed." She said, "What the hell's wrong with you? You can't just do that. You're an idiot." So him trying to get that thing pulled, sometimes those digits just don't come back out. When you dislocate it,
but he had something
everywhere.
that wouldn't let it go back in.
It's going everywhere.
I'm like, oh God, that
dislocating
sounds
your
horrible.
own finger, and you look at it, it's so weird looking because it's in like 5 different directions. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, it sounds horrible.
Well, you dislocate your finger in the break.
I'll see what I can do.
Let me do that.
All right, I'll get Dave to do it. All right, we'll come back with a little J or nay on the other side. It's the Postgame Show. How you watching what you watch, whether it's football season, preparing for all the holiday specials that are getting ready to come our way, parades and all those great old school, animation shows. I can't say the specific brand names because that's not really allowed in commercials. But Integrated Media is ready to make sure that all of those things look and sound amazing for you and your family, whether it's college playoffs, professional football playoffs. Hey, pro basketball starts tonight. There's that big, 7-game series in baseball starting in a couple of days' time. Whatever it is that you like to watch, do it better with Integrated Media. Maybe you want to take your setup outdoors so you can enjoy your patio, your porch, even around the pool in this time of year, build a little fire. Maybe you got some steaks on the grill, but you want to watch the game. Integrated Media installs amazing outdoor systems as well. Whatever you want, indoors, outdoors, one room, whole house, Wi-Fi that works everywhere. 803-948-8327. Call Integrated Media. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Jay or Nay in just a second. Start bench drop today. Again, I'll say not the most exciting one, but it's just we're talking college football. It's what we do. The most surprising top 20 team as we speak. And there's several options, but I chose Georgia Tech, South Florida, or Virginia. So start bench drop. Georgia Tech, South Florida, Virginia. I thought about and Ryan made a good point. Is Vandy a surprise? They're the top 10, maybe? Is it a surprise that Indiana is at number 2? Maybe. By the way, I don't know if I would put Indiana at number 2, but I get why people have.
I get why they have.
But I guess we're still just trying to get over the Indiana stigma.
Yeah, I think that's what happened here too. Is they were undefeated. Got the college football playoff last year with that schedule of playing middle schools and podiatry schools. And so we were like, okay, you got there because you played a cream puff schedule, and there's a bunch of other things that led to the good fortune of you making it, right? And we kind of felt the same way because remember, they dumped Virginia, which is kind of funny now looking back.
I still.
And so we
Although now, I don't know, Virginia's in the top 20.
Exactly. That might have been a fun game, Jay. So we still didn't take them seriously until they went to Eugene, Oregon.
Yes.
And look, that wasn't a fluke win. That was we stood toe to toe and we whooped you. We beat you, and they beat.
They
Oregon.
won by 10, man.
They beat Oregon.
Yeah, they
man.
didn't just win. That just wasn't Oregon winning in double overtime in State College.
No.
This was Indiana going to Eugene and going again. Not hold my beer, hold my keg.
Yeah, you want some of this? You want some more of this?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like It was like Mr. T. Hey, you want a real man? I mean, they were Clubber Lang, man. They went in there and they beat up Oregon. So when you saw that, it wasn't just the win. It's like we're talking about. Sometimes you watch a game and a team finds a way to win. It's a little fluky or just good fortune. No.
Not that time.
Indiana was the better team.
Man. Maybe they are. I feel like the way Alabama is playing, I do think Alabama is probably the second best team in the country. But again, I may be subconsciously biased.
But I think also Indiana jumped up like that because all of a sudden the whole country went, wow, they are really good.
They are.
But
I know I did.
Their resume is not as good as Alabama's right now.
Yeah.
Alabama winning 4 in a row over ranked teams.
Yeah.
I'd hate to be the next team to play Bama. Wow. Who's on the schedule next?
Let me look. Actually, I'll look later.
Okay.
In the meantime, I want some game show music.
Today is a day for game show music, my man.
Let's see what we can do.
There's no doubt.
But, we'll give you our start bench drop choices coming up a little bit later on.
All righty. That's an honor of you and your dad. Let's get you in here.
There we go.
I don't know where that came from. All right, here we go. Tony Vitello is the manager of the San Francisco Giants. Jay or nay for you?
You know, I said a couple of weeks ago that I just didn't see this, but I'm going to say Jay. I heard what Buster Posey was looking for. He's the GM now, not the star catcher. What's funny, Terry, about this story as an aside, because I'll give it a Jay, is that Tennessee fans are saying Bob Melvin only made $4 million. Bro, Tennessee fans, I love you. I love you. God bless you and the love that you have and the passion that you have for your school. But if Tony Vitello is offered the job, and it's not just a managerial job in the bigs, it's the manager of the San Francisco Giants. This is a team that in the last decade won 3 World Series. They are serious about their baseball. It's the Giants. If he doesn't take the job, he'll never be offered a major league job again. And it's the Giants.
You can always go back to college.
Again, Tennessee fans love you. But if he's offered the job, he is out the door.
Well, you
in
have
Knoxville.
to be. You have to be out the door.
Have to be. But I read some about it, Terry, and I think it's going to happen.
It feels like it is. It feels like that's where it's trending. And that was leaked to get response.
Yeah.
Make no mistake.
Yeah.
All right. Jets owner Woody Johnson's at it again. He praises head coach Aaron Glenn for turning around parts of the organization. But then this. It's hard when you have a quarterback with a rating that ours has. I mean, he has ability, but something is just not jiving. You have to play consistently at that position, and that's what we're going to try to do for the remainder of the season. How about it's tough to win when you have that owner, Jay or nay?
Jay. He and I think he also said if we could just complete a pass, we'd be good. Yeah, look, and again, rating like what your kid told you what the Madden number was.
Right.
It's ownership. It's as dysfunctional as it's ever been with the New York Jets. Period. End of story. It's the owner. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. Last Jay or nay.
Last one.
Texas A&M, the first SEC program to receive a $50,000 fine from the conference for violating the policy on faking injuries.
Yeah.
Jay or nay, just $50,000 or should it be more?
I think it should. I think it should be more. Monetary fines don't really matter, especially to a school like that. Remember, Terry, going back to the noise thing that the SEC had years ago, like with the Mississippi State Cowbells?
Yep,
I was like, a $200,000 fine doesn't matter. But you know what will matter? A 15-yard penalty. Now, you shouldn't do this for a 15-yard penalty. Suspend the player for a full game. Maybe suspend the coach for a half.
So the player can't come back in.
Yeah,
Something.
But $50,000? Come on.
Yeah.
Mike Elko will be like, dude, I'll pay for that.
I got that in my change drawer.
Headlines coming up.
Quick check on the traffic. Accidents, Barnwell Street near Laurel Street in downtown Columbia. Also, Busby Street near Faro Road. I-26 westbound Broad River Road, that's exit 97. Back in Columbia, Pickens at Senate. Also, Platte Springs Road at South Lake Drive in Lexington as well. And one final one, I-26 westbound between exits 115 and 113. Quick check on the roads. We have a few accidents. I-26 westbound between exits 115 and 113. Also, Barnwell Street at Laurel in Columbia. Also in Columbia, Pickens at Senate. In Lexington, Platte Springs Road at South Lake Drive. Irmo Chapin area, I-26 westbound at Broad River Road. That's exit 97. Also, Busby Street at Farrow Road. Burgess at Highway 17 South. We'll come back. The 5 o'clock news from our friends Integrated Media is coming up next here on the Postgame Show.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Tuesday. Welcome back in. Also, the final hour of the post-game show along with Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. Tuesdays during football season means Shane Beamer press conferences. Gamecocks hosting Alabama Saturday afternoon. It's the national game of the week on ABC, the 3:30 game. Gamecocks opened a little higher, but currently are 11.5-point underdogs to the Tide. Over under 47.5, and the ESPN computers give Carolina a scant 17.6% chance to win this home game on Saturday afternoon. Shane, today, with all of the things going wrong on Saturday, just a team that never really looked the part, was asked today, how can you find a way to get better?
Yeah, I think it's it's week to week, it's day to day, it's season to season, whatever. I mean, it's things that I'm looking at each and every day in the short term. It's the decision I made from a staffing standpoint last week or 2 weeks ago to follow up on your question from Saturday. If I felt like more changes on offense were warranted right now and that was best for us, I would certainly do it. I don't right now. And I see what we're trying to do. I see how it's being coached, and I see the people and how they're working, and it's not good enough. But I look at it as, okay, how can I, as the head coach, continue to do the things right now in the short term, meaning in the middle of the season, to fix it? And it might be something from a personnel standpoint, who we're playing with on offense and defense and special teams. It may be something that, as the head coach, I step in and say, from a schematic standpoint, we don't need to be doing this anymore, or we need to be doing this more, or less or more, which I have. We don't need to be doing this as much, or we need to be doing this more. I've done that. And then you're always evaluating, and that's each day, that's throughout the season, and then that's after the season also. And it's like I told our team this morning, Jack, we're 3-4 right now. Nobody's happy, but nobody's coming to save us. What we have on this team is what we are right now, and it's not good enough, but we've got the people, the players, and the coaches to get it right this season. And it's cliche, but it's true. You just go right back to work and just keep trying to get better each and every day.
Shea Beamer from earlier, in there he said, I see what we're trying to do, Terry. And you and I have had this conversation today. I know the fan base, again, we could hear the chants on Saturday afternoon in terms of how fans feel about Mike Shula. But we've talked a lot about it. Shane has made those changes midseason. He's right about that. I'll give him his due there, at least in the sense that he has something to back himself up when he says if I felt like it, he doesn't. And I know that fans will basically ask, and I get it, why don't you? Why don't you feel? And like we said, that's a harder question to answer, because perhaps it's not as simple as I have a Sean Elliott to replace Alani Teasley. Do you have that experienced play caller? Or maybe to what Shane was trying to say there, I know we're close if we could just get it to click. and Ryan Brewer earlier today made a mention of that man, there are times when it's almost there, but they don't quite find it. So he's clearly, Shane, gone fine-tooth combing over this and has arrived at a decision that says Mike Shula will remain in place. But Saturday, again, unimaginative at times, puzzling, a word I've used often today. What changes can you make, especially when you are still shorthanded up front, which seems to be the leading cause of your problems? Again, for those who didn't see it, Oklahoma had 6 sacks and 13 tackles for loss.
Yep.
I mean, they are eating you alive. And when you've got those numbers, how effective were you on plays when you didn't have that kind of statistic?
Well, I mean, too, like Shane says that, he's watched it, he's seen it every day, so he must have the belief that what Mike Shula is doing is going to work at some point. It's going to click. Everything's going to, and once it clicks, bam, it's going to take off, and it's going to be unbelievable, and they're going to score about 100 points a game. And, okay, maybe 90. But it's going to get better. Shane's watching it, and what he's seeing, it's really close. Now, watching what we watched Saturday, watching what we watched all year, you want to go, okay, man, how much Bailey's you putting in that coffee every day when you're watching this? But because we see the end product, right? And we're seeing an offense that's one of the worst offenses in America. And what we saw Saturday, Jay, I'm not saying rock bottom, but we just saw an offense that, I mean, everything was off. Then you throw in the time management at the end of the half when you can't. I mean that decision to throw it, that whole decision, you just can't play like that.
Right.
And not to say that lost you the game, because obviously it didn't.
No.
It didn't. But that's just a part of everything we're seeing. And Saturday, for a multitude of reasons, was just like, the special teams interception. I mean, it has nothing to do with your offense. But it was just one of those days, Jay, you just shake your head and go, man, I'm wondering about stuff, right? It just was. And it's one game. And it's not a question about the whole program. It's just a question about where are you at in 2025?
Give me cut number. Do I have time for that? Yeah, let's do one more here. You know what? Yeah, give me cut number 14, Terry, please.
All right.
This is Shane kind of coming up to, you mentioned, who does Alabama have this week? It's obviously South Carolina. But Carolina, again, last year, couple of plays away, right? 2-point loss, had a couple of misses. Shane on trying to use last year's experience in Tuscaloosa to their advantage this weekend.
Yeah, I think our guys have that understanding or that belief anyway, based on, who we believe we are, whether it's Alabama or anybody in this league. We have that confidence to go play on Saturday. But, certainly there's a lot of guys that were there and a lot of guys that made plays in that game that are back. And, watching that tape of the game on all three phases, I mean, it's like every Saturday, it's a handful of plays that you either make or you don't make. And we made some great plays in that game last season. And then there were some plays to be made on offense, defense, and special teams where we just didn't quite make it that could have been the difference in the game. But there's no question our guys have that belief and confidence. And I would hope they would understand, based on where we are right now and what they've seen through these first 7 games, that every play matters. And in this league, it is every single week, whether it's Texas, Kentucky the other night, or Georgia, Auburn, or Georgia, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, whoever. I mean, there's just so many close games every single Saturday, and every play matters.
Again, you try to find those places. Can you find this game to put it together? We got more from Shane on some of the specifics of what they're trying to do. We'll do that for you in the Gamecock Notebook coming up. But it just feels like where Alabama was a year ago and where Alabama is today.
Now remember, Bama was coming off the loss to Vandy.
Yeah.
Back in Tuscaloosa, South Carolina was coming off the loss to Ole Miss.
Yes.
And South Carolina, for the last 3 quarters, was the better team in that game.
Yes.
So think about, we fast forward a year later. Look where Alabama is.
But Alabama was halfway through their first season with their new coach. Jalen Milroe was still their quarterback. There was that.
No Ryan Grubb.
Yeah,
at the OC.
And remember, there was no honeymoon last year.
No.
There really was no. Bama doesn't do that. There's no there's no grace period.
No. And the weird thing about that, Jay, remember, it was a weird 3-game stretch. You beat Georgia in that phenomenal game. Then you go to Nashville and get beat by Vandy.
As the number 1 team in the country.
And then you escape at home against South Carolina in a game you really should have lost.
Probably.
Because in the last 3 quarters, South Carolina took the fight.
If Carolina, again, the self-inflicted stuff Carolina did.
The fumble was a killer.
The fumble was
You were going in to take a 2-score lead and take over that football game.
Yeah, that was tough.
But again, so I guess my point is, this is the way college football is now.
Right.
It just is. Now, here we are a year later, and Alabama has ascended to another level, it seems right now, and South Carolina is not the team they were last year at that time going to Tuscaloosa, even though we didn't realize what was about to happen, because after that game, didn't lose another regular season game.
Right. More coming up from Coach Beamer in the Gamecock Notebook here in just a few minutes' time. Meanwhile, let's get to some Major League Baseball for you. Last night, it was the Toronto Blue Jays. I feel for Seattle. I do.
Yep. I was rooting for him, man.
But George Springer is he's the new Mr. October.
Just ridiculous.
He may not ever do some of the things that Reggie did back in the day, but George Springer and his postseason numbers are extraordinary. He does it again. And remember, after getting dinged the other day.
Yeah, he was on one good kneecap today.
It wasn't quite Kirk Gibson, but close. But the Jays hold on for a 4-3 win. Remember, Seattle won the first 2 games in Toronto. But then the Jays won 4 of 5 to close it out last night. So the Mariners of the active Major League Baseball teams remain the only one that has not gone to the World Series.
I know, man. I felt so bad for him. I mean, you're what, 8 outs away or whatever they were, and then you lose. And the thing too is, like, I was talking with Tyler about this earlier. If you're Dan Wilson, the manager of the Mariners, you didn't bring your high-leverage guy Munoz in until later, and you brought in one of your other – they're all throwing 100, but you brought in one of your other middle relievers, and he's the guy that Springer takes yard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, and you know how this goes as a manager. You're going to stay awake. You're not going to sleep for a month.
Right.
Because you're going to think about, what if I'd have brought in my high-leverage guy at that point? Because that's what you second-guess yourself. Because if your guy would have worked last night and you go to the World Series, obviously great job. But when you don't bring in your hammer, one of your hammers, and you bring in somebody else and they get taken yard, and that's the difference in the game. I mean, if you're a manager, all you're doing is smacking yourself in the face with something.
Yeah. And no guarantee that Seattle is back where they are next season. We shall see. But the World Series begins Friday night. The Blue Jays, 1 game better than the Dodgers in the regular season, get the home field advantage. So games 1 and 2, Friday, Saturday, north of the border. It starts at 8 o'clock-ish.
Who are you rooting for?
I don't care that much. I really do. I probably the Dodgers, maybe because of Freddie, if nothing else. Again, I like Dave Roberts. I like the Shohei story. Jays are a fun story. But, the Blue Jays beat the Braves in the World Series once upon a time. So I'll hold it against them.
That's right. There you go.
I'll just but I liked it. I know a lot of people look at the Dodgers as like some kind of like National League Yankees. And I guess I just don't. Maybe because L.A. and New York are such different vibes. But again, I like Dave Roberts. And Freddie's there, and I have no ill will toward Freddie.
I don't have a big hate for the Dodgers.
I like Betts. I like again, the Shohei thing is great. I think he's awesome for the sport. And my God, this sport needs something to give it some spark and life and interest and personality. And Shohei, I mean that performance last week was just, come on.
We didn't get a chance to talk about that because of everything else. 6 scoreless innings and 3 home runs.
3 home runs. I mean,
ridiculous.
Come on,
it's
man.
Just
in the
vile.
Playoffs.
It's just vile. It was, it was insane.
Yeah, sorry to do a Herm there, but or not Herm, Jim Mora, but
it was crazy.
Yeah, but in a playoff game,
it was insane.
Yeah, that wasn't a day in June.
No.
Where you got some journeyman coming in who's got a 7.82 ERA.
And you're going up against the Angels or whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of the Angels, thank you for doing that, Terry Ford. Look at you. What an unexpected segue. Kurt Suzuki has been hired as the new manager of the L.A. Angels. I was fortunate. I got to see him play for Fullerton at the College World Series, man, and I was like, that dude's going to be something.
Yeah.
And then he ended up playing 6
I was going to say, he had a nice long major league career. He was a special assistant in the Angels front office for the last couple of years.
But
again, catchers. Again, I don't know what kind of manager Suzuki will be, but catchers make good managers.
Catchers just they have a truly different.
And
view
they
of the
deal
game.
with the whole. They're the only player on the team that truly deals with the whole roster.
Yeah.
So
last night, a couple of Monday Night Football finals for you. Lions send the Bucks to their second loss with a dominant 24-9 win, and the Seahawks. You know, here's another thing. Well, I guess you can't postpone it, but to have the Seahawks at home while the Mariners are trying to go to the World Series, that's kind of crappy. Again, coincidence. This is why stop. I hate the doubleheader on Monday night. I'm sorry, Terry.
It's really bugging you.
I can't stand it.
I know it's just not.
I just don't like it.
I'm like whatever, but yeah, for you, this is one of those things.
I don't. But anyway, Seattle. So at least the Seahawks won. Yeah, they go to 5-2 over the Houston Texans, and that is our integrated media headlines of the day. A lot more from what Coach Beamer had to say in the Gamecock Notebook. That's next.
Kreger Showrooms, formerly The Nest, in Gadsden, in the Vista, on Gadsden, I should say, in the Vista. Again, you can go to the website and check out the showroom at Kreger Showrooms. You can give those folks a call, and you can set up an appointment to go hang out there and talk with them and tell them about your vision and your goals and your budget and whatever you're looking to do for your home, whether it's appliances, kitchen, bathroom, lighting, fixtures, plumbing. 803-978-2025. 803-978-2025 is the number. Or you can come over Friday, big tailgate Friday. Come on over, have a beverage from Savage Craft, have something to eat from Coyote Grills, and then walk in the showroom of Kreger Showrooms and check how awesome it is. Again, that is this Friday. We're doing our tailgate Friday from Kreger Showrooms on Gadsden in the Vista. Come see us. Come check everything out for Kreger Showrooms.
Like I said on Saturday, I mean, it's going 1-0 each week, starting this week, which will be a big challenge, but it's maximizing the potential of this year's team. And we haven't reached that potential. I, as the head coach, have not gotten the most out of these players and coaches. And that's what we're working hard on to do. And that, to me, is still the high hopes and the high expectations that we have to be able to get the most out of this team, whatever that is record-wise. Let's do it and maximize this team.
What are the goals for the season was the question, and the goal is to go 1-0 each week and get the best. So 8-4 is what you're looking at. You got 3 top 10 teams on the horizon: Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas A&M. I think, let's see, A&M is going to LSU this weekend. Mississippi will be at Oklahoma. So will they remain top 10 teams? We shall see. Regardless, all heavily favored to beat South Carolina. But first things first, Bama, an 11.5-point favorite this weekend. Let's get to a couple other things, Terry, before you and I talk a little bit more. Where were we next? Number 4, please. Shane Beamer on trying to get – is that the one we just used?
No, it's the noise.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
noise.
I'm sorry. I didn't write down the one we used in the – sorry. I didn't write down the one we used in the news. I didn't want to do it again. Yeah, this is Shane Beamer on trying to get his team to focus on them and them alone.
Block it out. If you're spending time listening to that noise, then you're not doing the things that you need to be doing to get better. You're not doing the things that you need to be doing to win. When our players walk out of the locker room each and every day, they see a sign on the door of the locker room that's there permanently that says, starve your distractions, feed your focus. And I love that. I mean, starve your distractions, all the things that are cluttering your mind. Starve it as much as you can and feed your focus. And again, I understand there's noise out there, and there should be. I'm not happy with where we are right now, and I'm going to get it fixed because we got great young men in this program, and as the leader and as the head coach of this program, I realize that I'm letting a lot of people down right now with the way that we're playing. Our players that I feel like I'm letting down, our coaches, our players' families, our coaches' families, the student body, the 80,000 people that pack Williams-Brice Stadium every Saturday. The state of South Carolina, from Charleston to Myrtle Beach to the upstate to the Midlands, there's a lot of people that live and die with Gamecock football on Saturdays, and I get it. They're not happy, and neither am I. And I take that personally because I truly feel like I'm letting a lot of people down right now. And I'm working hard each and every week to try and to get it fixed, making the decisions schematically, personnel-wise, staff-wise, each and every week to get it fixed. And it's a process, but we're going to get it fixed. We're not far off from where we want to be.
That was a theme a couple of times, not far off from where we need to be. Again, that was Shane from the press conference earlier today. He also had an answer where he said, look, if I thought, and he kind of hinted at it there, if I thought I had to make a change, I'd make a change. I made one. And he said in so many words, I don't feel that we have to make a change with the offensive coordinator, that we know what we want to do. We know how close we are to doing it. I think fans, obviously, I don't want to throw a blanket on everybody, Terry, but it would seem majority of the fan base disagree with Coach Beamer's take on that, and I think it's easy to understand why. If you could put your finger on one thing to fix and then say it's going to get better from there, that'd be a whole lot easier. But, is it if there were more time, and I keep coming back to it now, 6 sacks and 13 tackles for loss. Mm-hmm. You're being dominated up front. And that has to be the number one thing. And so the change that you made last week, and this is not to say, well, Sean didn't get it fixed. Is it more of a personnel issue? Is it expecting a quick fix from one week to the next against, as you've pointed out, one of the top 2 or 3 defenses, at least based on the metrics, in the nation? Probably unrealistic, mm-hmm. but yet at the same time, when you know that, what can you do to better influence your star player to be put in a position to be successful? Mm-hmm. Because we did not, in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of most, see that on Saturday.
No, not at all. Like with the thing of, okay, Sean Elliott's here, he's going to fix everything in a week. No, because this thing is such a problem. For example, here it is. It's like you've seen those old Civil War movies, right? Where you have the guy that carries the flag up the hill, and he has no weapons.
Right.
He's carrying the flag, and he's in front of everybody,
right.
And he's running up the hill, and he's running right at people who are trying to shoot at him and injure him.
Yeah.
So let's say, and remember when that guy gets wiped out, and they pick up the flag, and they turn to the next guy and go, "Here, it's your turn." That's Sean Elliott here, right? Lonnie Teasley's out of the way. By the way, here's the flag. It's now your turn. Run up the hill. This is not an easy fix. And you're going up against LSU last week, Oklahoma this past week, LSU 2 weeks ago, two of the best defensive fronts in the country. And that's a tough dude. Hey, you're now the new guy. Here's the flag. Go run at Oklahoma. Have fun.
Yeah.
And guess what this week? Alabama, have fun. A&M, have fun.
Yeah.
This is not going to get any easier, and it's not a quick fix. Tyler brought this up, and you remember you and I talked about this with Ryan, and now they kind of said, well, can Sean Elliott put a little nasty in these guys? Everybody's got their own different level of nasty, right? Some guys aren't nasty at all. Some guys are only nasty on the field. Some guys are nasty constantly, whatever. I just don't think that Sean Elliott can walk in and headbutt these guys and start getting them to be who they might not be, right? I think that's kind of. I'm almost looking at Sean Elliott's one of the Avengers, right? I mean, God love him. He's a hell of an offensive line coach, but you got to give him more than a few days, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully we see some incremental improvement, because it feels like, okay, you get rid of the offensive you keep the offensive coordinator and say, what I see, I believe in, but you fired the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
So, all right, and I'm just going to throw this against the wall, and you tell me how it smells. You're saying if we get the offensive line right, all these other things, I hope, will fall into place.
It certainly is I
mean, you can disagree with me, I'll just get mad at you. No, but you know what I'm saying to you? It's if you go by the breadcrumbs, I believe in the offensive coordinator's vision, but I got rid of the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
I think if I can get this offensive line straightened out, hopefully, then the offense will pop.
Yeah, and that seems to be where they are. And again, is that how close they are?
Shane keeps saying he feels they're close, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so do a few others. I didn't see it Saturday. I didn't see closer. I saw closer in Columbia, Missouri, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, than I did in Columbia, South Carolina.
This was the first game. I really was like, they got no shot as I'm watching this game. Look, Missouri, you took the lead in the fourth quarter, one-score game in the fourth quarter. LSU, one-score game in the fourth quarter. The loss to Vandy, look, Stellars got knocked out, and that changed everything. But I truly was sitting there watching it going, once they went down 17-7, Jay, and I mean South Carolina, they went down 2 scores and went like this. It's a wrap.
I said this at halftime on Twitter. All things considered, the Gamecocks could be in worse shape. Need to get something to open the half because they got the ball, and hope the loss of number 6 isn't too damaging. They punted, and they were never, the loss, maybe the loss of Stewart in the game wasn't too damaging, but you were never in it. Another microcosm play too was the fake. Fake, I don't know what happened there, man. And I know Shane loves to say that when we see the look, somebody messed up there. Or, either that or Oklahoma almost decoyed him.
That's
into the
where
look.
I'm at. I feel like, and even Shane said they pulled like a zone blitz thing where they took one of the guys in the defensive front and dropped him back in coverage. It's almost like Oklahoma was coached up for that moment.
Yeah.
And maybe at that point, look, Shane's special teams has outcoached a lot of other special teams.
Sure.
Maybe on that play, Oklahoma got the okie doke on you.
I think so.
That's what it felt like watching it, right?
Well, I said, again, I'll read a tweet. I said, not sure what look South Carolina saw, but Oklahoma saw it even clearer.
Yeah.
So
that's what it felt. And that's a pick. And then they go down and take advantage of it and score.
But that almost, even though that was a special teams play, that almost felt like that's the game.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in the game. You weren't nearly as good and prepared as they were. Period. That's the Gamecock Notebook for this Tuesday. Drive around the SEC is next.
All right, we have some accidents to get to here. Barnwell near Laurel in Columbia. It's at Taylor. Busby Street near Faro Road, also Corley Mills Road near Sunset Boulevard. Forum Drive at Fashion Drive, also I-26 westbound, Broad River Road, exit 97. Patricia Drive near Leesburg Road, Pickens at Senate in Columbia. Platte Springs Road at South Lake Drive, and Taylor Street at Millwood Avenue. Drive around the SEC coming up next here on the Postgame Show.
"26 minutes in front of 6 o'clock on this Tuesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. It is time for the drive around the SEC. And one of our regulars, Justin, is probably reading our mind because he is going to start the drive around the SEC with a question he wants to talk about. So, Justin, good afternoon, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing all right, man.
Hey, guys. I kind of disappointed that yeah, Sabian last out, but you can't look at it negatives. You gotta keep going. You know, I know it's frustrating, but listen, I get it because he has had nobody else to replace my shit right now, so he gotta stay with him till he's gone. You know.
Yep.
And first of all, I don't know who's gonna take the forward job. They say it could be Eli Jeffries. If you're a soccer fan, you want Eli Jeffries to go P instead. That might be bad for you guys.
It might, Justin. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, the Florida job is going to be an interesting one. I do get the sense, and I will be leaning a lot, as I think a lot of people will, on what Andy Staples is going to be saying. I think, you know, Andy, of course, played for Florida under Steve Spurrier back in the 90s. Has become one of the leading voices of college football on the national stage. He lives in Gainesville. And I know he believes, for now at least, that Lane Kiffin is going to be top of the list. Terry and I have been talking about it a lot. And it's funny because I think it was Josh Pate. I watched both yesterday, Terry. Mm-hmm. So forgive me. It was one or the other that said what Florida fans want is, you know, the real successor to Steve Spurrier. They want a guy who is brash and wears a visor. And then there was the picture of Lane and Eli, who both in some ways have kind of said that they wear visors because of Steve Spurrier.
Yep.
You know, not that the visor matters, but anyway, it's going to be interesting. I'm certain there will be other candidates that Scott Strickland speaks with. Scott, there's a lot on his shoulders. Mm-hmm. And you do have to question as well, you know, look, it'll be his final decision. I mean, he's the athletics director, right? Well, I say it'll be his final decision, but you talk a lot about cooks in the kitchen, and there's a lot of them at UF. But they're like, Scott, you've hired you hired the last two.
This is number 3, dude.
Yeah, you've hired the last 2.
You know what's saving him?
And one of them was really your boy. And and again, I don't know if they rushed Dan Mullen out the door too quick or not. I don't know. It's been a while now.
Well, let me ask you this. Scott Strickland, what's saving him from the hot seat is he hired Todd Golden.
Fair.
Because if not, if you and look,
but I mean that's taking that's taking the hot seat of Scott Strickland, which is probably if Billy's was a full on 10, Scott's is an 8 that Golden turned to 7 because as much as they love basketball, they've won now their 3rd basketball title. Mm-hmm. If you said, hey, we're never going to win a basketball title again, but don't you fret. We'll get you some football ones. They will trade the basketball.
They would trade those 3 basketball titles for 1 football title in a heartbeat.
And finishing last in the conference in basketball for a decade.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's just if you're the AD and they start to say, well, you know, I did hire the basketball coach, won a national championship, even though, look, let's be real here. Nobody thought, nobody, if you gave Falker Truth Serum to the folks of Florida, would they say, that guy we just hired from the University of San Francisco is going to win us a natty?
Yeah.
But Strickland, this is his third try, man. And look, you're going to have to pay a guy $10 to $11 million. Or it's not even a conversation.
Yeah, and they will. It's the money.
To.
The money. Look, it's and they've done a lot. I know this was Josh Pate's show because I watched this today. Josh made mention of how much Billy Napier
$7.5 million.
How much he asked for in terms of support staff salary and got it.
Got a ton of it.
The facility upgrades got it. So the next guy comes in to a better environment.
Resource-wise.
Yeah,
yes.
so there's that. And Florida always recruits well.
Oh, God.
Now, you can recruit even better, but, even when they're not recruiting great, they're still top 15.
And Billy did a heck of a job recruiting.
Yeah, he did it, yeah.
Everyone looks at that roster and says it has talent.
No, it's a UF roster for sure. Again, you can get a top 10, top 5 recruiting class there, but you're consistently top 15. You got to coach them better. You're going to make Lane say no.
Yeah,
you're going to make Lane say no.
You start there. And look, I keep saying this. There's a good chance. No, there's a chance that Lane was going to say no. Everybody thinks that Lane's a no-brainer to Florida. He's not a no-brainer. Not in this world today. If Lane says yes, that's fine. But if Lane says no, then I guess you travel to Missouri and see what Eli Drinkwitz has got going on.
I do feel like Eli becomes either 1B or 2. I've told you already, and now that it became official, I'm more and more convinced. And Justin, buddy, you make a great point. Not just South Carolina fans, Southeastern Conference fans may say, maybe Penn State and Eli should get together. Because if you're keeping Lane because if Eli stays at Missouri, they're going to get better. Now, how much? I don't know, but remember, you can go 10-2.
Remember, they're putting hundreds of millions of dollars into that facility.
A lot of y'all that were up there, I heard from a few that went to that game, and if not, you watched it on television. You saw that construction, and it's not just the construction. Now, I know Carolina's getting ready to spend a lot on construction and other things too. So, everybody does. That's life in this conference.
That's the world that you're running into today. You say you have Lane tell you no. And if Lane does tell you, but here's the one problem.
Do you have Lane tell you no twice?
I think you do it until Lane gets a restraining order against you. Right? Until the cops are coming to your house, knocking on the door with that piece of paper saying, leave this guy the hell alone. Yeah. I think you go after Lane's a no-brainer. And I think Lane would be phenomenal. But here's my one thing with Lane. And let's think outside the box a little bit. We got time to kill. Lane it feels like Lane is better when he's the hunter, the underdog, not with the shining light of expectation on him. Like at Ole Miss. Up until last year, there was never any expectation. Last year, let's face it, they did not reach the expectation of last year, which was a college football playoff.
Right.
That roster was built to go make the CFP.
Right.
So there was kind of an undershift because remember, last year, Lane was the hunted.
Yep.
Very uncharacteristic. Ever since he left Southern Cal, he's been on this path of being the underdog, right? The guy that, he had the chance and screwed it up because of whatever. You go to Florida, dude, guess what follows you? The spotlight. You are now the hunted again. Does Lane want to go back into that world like he was at Tennessee, Southern Cal, and the NFL? Feels like the comfort level has been more or less the snarky social media dude who's not at the big program. And look what little Lane's doing in Oxford. I don't know, man. There's just something in me that thinks this is not a slam dunk.
I don't think it's a slam dunk either.
But there are people who do.
I know. And again, like I say, I used to be one of them. I've pulled back on that a little bit. As I've joked before, and I know you know where I'm going with this. I used to say a couple seasons ago, I'd say, instead of Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin, I'd say future Florida head coach Lane Kiffin, because I just knew it was coming. Because you could tell from a distance, perhaps, that the Billy thing that there was some separation somewhere in there that wasn't going to have that ever click. And, you hate to, and I'm far from alone in believing that kind of thing. But the more I think about it, man, the more I think that Eli Drinkwitz might be the guy. And I just wonder if it gets past one or the other. If Lane is 1A and Eli becomes 1B, do they get to a 2?
Well, here's my question. All right, because you know how this goes sometimes. Let's say Lane turns you down and then ready? Eli turns you down. Now, and I don't think I think Drinkwitz takes the job myself.
I do too, because I can't, and with all due respect, I cannot, and Terry, you made a great point about the world we live in today. But how, dare I say, humiliating would it be?
That's what I mean.
For the University of Florida to be turned down by the head coaches of the University of Mississippi and the University of Missouri.
That's what I'm saying. What kind of black eye does Florida get?
Then it's like nobody wants our job.
That's what it is. Because Rhett Lashley's name has been on this list. Yeah. Somebody says they should go outside the box and go after Marcus Freeman.
I've heard that one, and I've heard that for Penn State too. There's a reason Brian Kelly left Notre Dame.
Yep.
I don't think Marcus Freeman's going to have the same way of thinking, and certainly not now. Notre Dame took a big chance on him. I think you reciprocate.
Can I throw the little sniff and smoke of maybe Freeman's agent throwing Freeman's name out there to see if Freeman can get some more love from Notre Dame?
If Freeman gets a playoff berth, he'll get his raise. And that's what Notre Dame will say. That's the drive around the SEC, a little J versus the internet coming up. Welcome back in. We will do a little Jay versus the Internet and our quick start bench drop. By the way, start bench drop today was the most surprising top 20 teams as we speak in college football. Georgia Tech, South Florida, Virginia. Terry Ford, I'm starting Virginia.
Uh-huh.
I am benching South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dropping Georgia Tech because I think they were pretty good.
Well, last year, remember, they were a 500 team, scared the bejesus out of Georgia at the end of the year, got to a bowl game. Virginia didn't. Most of the campus doesn't really have a football team.
I agree.
So I'm going to start Virginia. I'm with you. And I'm going to be really boring here and bench South Florida and drop Georgia Tech.
There you go.
Because Georgia Tech's the least surprising of the three.
About this.
I know. Look at that.
Gene has been very patient throughout the afternoon as we've been very busy. Gene, we give you the final word on the phones. How you doing, bud?
Hey, Jay. Hey, Terry. Listen, it's a no-brainer. Lane's going to Florida. And I'd like to bet some money. If they were taking some odds at any casino, I'd
they
I'd
are.
You can
find, you can find it, dude. You can find it.
You let me know.
All right.
Let me know where.
All
Second of all, there's no bigger fan than Shane Beamer than me. I lobbied for him before they hired him when they was talking about Napier coming here and all that. Shane, there's no bigger fan. The man cannot coach offense. Shula cannot coach offense. I mean, what's wrong? Listen, do you recall back in the day when Cliff Kingsbury coached at Texas Tech?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have an offensive line, but he found a way to get his skill players the ball. 3-step drop out routes, 3-step drop curl route, 3-step drop crossing route. What's wrong with that? I mean, you can't run it.
That's it.
They want to run the football. Curl route, out route, anything to get the ball into them skill position players' hands so they can go up the field.
Yeah,
we get you, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Gene. Appreciate your patience.
Getting the ball out quick. We've been talking about this. Get the ball out quick.
And that's again. Do you have some looks for it? Do you have to run more of that? And what can you do? Again, they've been close at times, but like I said, I feel Saturday they were not close.
No, and that one was not good. We had a caller when we throw this out. It's an interesting question. Ken Lenore Sellers, how much ability does he have, or is he given to audible at the line of scrimmage? Because sometimes you can see you can see a play is just it's dead on arrival sometimes. And so it's an interesting conversation, interesting question by a caller. Typically, Jay, from when you talk to college offensive coordinators and coaches, these college quarterbacks, for the most part, get a chance to change from a run to a pass or a pass to a run.
Yep.
They don't get like NFL guys who can change plays and all. Either you come up and go, wow, they got 35 guys in the box, let's throw it. Or, wow, we got a real advantage in the pass, let's change the run to a pass. But you can't get too exotic at the line of scrimmage with college quarterbacks. They're going to just change it. The basics is what I've heard before. Now, can Lenoris do it? What can he do? I don't know. But it's an interesting question.
Yeah, it was. Gene, thanks for the phone call. We'll again, as Shane said many times today, if I had felt like I needed to make a change, I'd have made the change. You've seen it. I didn't do it. All right. Real quick, let's do this.
It's Conference USA night, my man.
That's right.
Here we go. Kennesaw State 4-2, 2-0 in Conference USA. Goes to Florida International. Kennesaw State 2.5-point favorites on the road.
Sure, Kennesaw State. Go Owls. I have no idea.
That's why I love doing Conference USA with you.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Western Kentucky 3-1 in conference, 5-2 overall. Takes on Louisiana Tech 4-2 overall, 2-1 in conference. Louisiana Tech a 3.5-point home favorite.
Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs?
Home team. Yeah. Again, I love the Hilltopper mascot, but not tonight.
Okay. Southwestern Northeastern Kentucky School of Hardware. Traveling.
Who do we have?
I'm going to stop. I was going to just...
All right, I don't have enough.
Just stop.
All right.
I was going to be a goof. I'm going to stop. But, you know what? Remember Elijah used to give you fake names?
Yes.
I should give you fake schools in Conference USA and see if you could tell me which.
I think I know all the. I would know at least the fake schools. I would like to believe.
With all this realignment and adding schools.
I did have to be reminded the other day that Delaware is now an FBS.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You all of a sudden you go like this. Oh, that school's there now?
Yeah.
And I think it's really with the Sun Belt and with Conference USA.
Right.
Because remember, they get poached by everybody. Yeah. So, okay, man. Oh, over under in all seriousness. Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech over under is 49.5. What do you got?
Let's go under.
All right. So you got the under there. You're taking Kennesaw State, and you're taking Louisiana Tech.
Yes.
All right, man.
Good stuff. Thanks again for all the well wishes today. I'm gonna beat this thing. Again, I'm around a bit. I'll be out a little bit from here and there, but I appreciate all of you who have sent your well wishes today. Please continue to do that. It means a lot. Terry, more than you know, thank you. Thanks to our good friend Ryan Brewer. Thanks to my man Michael Haney calling in today too. As my mom said, I may have cancer, but it doesn't have me.
Our final check on the traffic this afternoon in Lexington. I-26 eastbound between Piney Grove Road and St. Andrews Road. There's an accident. Left lane is blocked. In Columbia, Augusta Road near I-26, we have an accident. Also, Corley Mills Road at Sunset Boulevard. Forum Drive at Fashion Drive. Patricia Drive at Leesburg Road. Also, Taylor Street at Millwood. Watling Road between Old Barnwell Road, Wilton Road, and Augusta Road. And obviously our long-term construction that drives us all crazy. All right, best of the game is coming up next. We will talk to you tomorrow with the Postgame Show. And do not forget, we have our high school football scoreboard show Friday with Elijah and Justin, brought to you by Pay More. That is on Friday, 7 to 11. We'll see you. Have a good night.